Welcome to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Cruise Chevrolet. Kevin O'Rourke alongside the head coach of the Bucks as Charleston Southern at 3-3 in Big South play gets set to go back on the road this Wednesday at Campbell, and then they host Liberty at the Buck Dome on Saturday. And Coach, you talked about the journey of the conference season, and you guys definitely had another interesting week. The high of a great win at Gardner-Webb on Wednesday, and then a tough loss Saturday at Longwood, and some injuries as well. Just, I guess, recap the week in general for you guys.
Well, maybe we should play all our games on Wednesday and no games on Saturday, because we seem to be able to win all our Wednesday games, and then we haven't been as fortunate on Saturday. Wednesday at Gardner-Webb was just a gutsy win. We didn't play particularly well, Kev. We just were able to gut one out. We were able to get some buckets late, or a bucket late from Arlon with 2.7 seconds to go, and a really tough shot by him that he made in traffic, and just a nice win, nice road win against a really nice team. Gardner-Webb's a talented team. They play with a great deal of poise, and they're historically have been very good defensively and been really good up there at Gardner-Webb in Boiling Springs. So we're very thankful for that win. Saturday was a bit of a disappointment. Very good Longwood team who was much better than their record. Came in, and certainly we seemed to have control of the game in the first half, and we're really clicking on all cylinders offensively, but it just broke down defensively in the second half, particularly the last couple minutes, and it's kind of been the story of our conference season, not being able to close out close games and not being able to get defensive stops when it really matters.
You mentioned the defensive struggles also without Sa and Emily, or without Arlen Harper for the whole second half, Sa for most of the second half. How did you think that affected the game, and what's their status going forward?
Well, I thought it affected it offensively. Certainly, we were on pace to score a lot of points, and without those two, they're two good playmakers for us, and they have the ability to penetrate and score, and penetrate and find others, and they're really big offensively for us like that. But it didn't affect us defensively. There's no reason that we should play like that defensively, and I got to really look and make sure that I'm teaching our guys the right things, and that they're understanding our defensive philosophy, and really got to work hard this week to make sure that we can improve defensively. We're terrific offensively. We're top 10 in the country in scoring, and we really were good offensively in the first half against Longwood, and made a lot of shots, really moved the ball efficiently, and it's just the defensive end that we got to grow. And Sa and Arlon are Sa's day-to-day. He has a bone bruise. We got the MRI back this morning, and he has a bone bruise, which was very good news. We initially thought the prognosis for him was much more grim than a bone bruise. So we're very thankful for that. Answer to prayer for sure. And then Arlon is going to be out for a while. He has a really severe ankle sprain, so severe that they x-rayed him yesterday for a break, and we were thankful that it wasn't broken. So we're going to be without those guys, particularly Arlon for a while, and maybe Sa for a while, and it's a great opportunity for us. We're not a two-man team. I always say we're not a post team, we're not a guard team, we're not a forward team, we're a team. And it's a good opportunity for some other guys to step up and to play in some roles that they haven't been playing, and to really show what they're made of. And I'm excited for the opportunity for those guys.
So Charleston Southern will next be in action Wednesday at Campbell. First recap last week's action. First Bucks traveling up to
do that. He's very creative with the ball, and a terrific passer, and teams have to really adjust to how they play him, and he made a lot of good decisions for us that first 10-12 minutes of the first half.
Bucks shot 53% in the first half. You got a spark from your post players scoring the ball again. Cedric Bowen early, and then Alhaji Fulla in the second half.
Wow, those two have really played well, and the exciting news is that really our best offensive post player right now has been Ty Biding, and so we got three really productive post players that are really have the ability to help us. Great shot there by Sa, excellent ball movement, and certainly he is a skilled shooter from the perimeter, and we continue, I guess, to lead the nation in three-point field goals made per game. But what I'm most excited about is we're top 30 in the country in assists, and that means your team is sharing the ball and creating easy shots for each other.
Saw Nimley with a couple of threes. Will Saunders hits one there. Bucks opened the game 15 of 24 from the field. Had that big run in the first half, that solid edge on. Then Gardner-Webb's able to answer back and get back in the game before halftime.
Oh, sure. We knew Gardner-Webb is just a really talented team, and they played particularly well there in the last 10 minutes of the first half. And you know, I knew that lead on the road was something that would be hard to maintain. You go up 15, and you know Gardner-Webb's a good team, and they're going to make a run. And Hibbert there, the transfer from Texas A&M, was really effective for them late in the first half. And there's some highlights from the second half, and it was a battle. It was a 40-minute battle that went down to the last 2 seconds.
Gardner-Webb got up 5. Bucks answer back. Arlon Harper with a corner 3 there. He, of course, hits the game-winning shot later on, but you guys really responded here. Will Saunders hits this 3. That starts a 13-0 run after they had seemingly taken the momentum.
Yeah, they did. They were up 5, and it looked a little bleak for us, and our guys, as usual, respond. Very poised. Great pass there by Malcolm. Malcolm's playing really well and has really adapted to his role as a playmaker. Maybe not as much of a scorer as a facilitator, and that's a really important role on our team.
Najee Hibbert with a 3 there. Bucks got up as many as 10. Matt Candy with a nice drive in the lane here. He had a big game Saturday against Longwood. You get up 10, they come all the way back, and you have to respond again late, and you did.
Well, that's college basketball. You know, we had a nice run. They answered with a nice run. 2 good teams, you know, fighting like crazy. And here's some free throws late. Made a defensive mistake and some good free throws late there by Gardner-Webb to tie it up. Called a timeout, called 1-4 flat for Arlon, and he did just what we asked him to do, get to the free throw line or below, and we felt we had a good matchup there because of Arlon's size, and really excited about him making that shot.
Arlon's only his second field goal of the second half. Hasn't scored the ball as much this year as at other times. Had to feel good for him to get a game winner like that.
We're looking forward to Arlon getting going the second half of the season. He's such a talented guy, and he's struggled a little bit, and that's not unusual. There's some guys across the country that are talented like him that are struggling. The great thing about Arlon is he won't continue to struggle. He's a fighter, and he'll be back to Arlon Harper form. You know, right when he gets back from his injury.
So Arlon Harper's foul line pull-up jumper gave the Bucks a 78-76 win at Gardner-Webb. CSU returned to action this past Saturday at home against Longwood, and we'll take a look at some highlights from that game after this. You're watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Cruise Chevrolet. Welcome back to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Cruise Chevrolet. Kevin ORourke alongside the CSU head coach as the Bucks get set to head on the road Wednesday at Campbell. And first, we'll recap Saturday's game against Longwood. You just saw some highlights from the win over Gardner-Webb. And you guys come back home, and as we'll see in these highlights, you get off to a quick start. But just we knew going in that Longwood was capable offensively, and they showed that with their 2 guards, Woodhouse and Carey.
Wow, they were just put on a offensive display that was tough to watch, hard to watch for an opposing coach, but great execution by them, and we certainly have great respect for them and have seen their improvement on film and knew that this was going to be a battle, and knew that particularly offensively they were a very tough match for us.
We'll take a look at some highlights from that game. Longwood coming in off a win over Liberty at home. The previous game they had broken a 7-game losing streak. Talented scoring, as we said. You guys we know can score it, and you did early. You open up a 13-2 lead, 19-7 at one point, and like you said, offensively, you guys are about as good as it gets when you're at full strength.
Oh wow, we're moving the ball well here, sharing the ball, making shots, great ball movement, great pass by Cedric. We're just clicking on all cylinders defensively. You can see a breakdown there on their ball screen, and certainly something we got to continue to work on.
3 guards for the Bucks had big first halves. Harper and Nimley with 12, Candy with 16. Tristan Carey, though, able to keep him in it, had 5 threes in the first half. and 23 points. And Matt Kennedy comes with an answer there for you guys.
Yeah, Matt Kennedy is really shooting the ball well. Had a great night, probably a career high for sure for him, 28 points. And he really became our go-to guy late. After Arlon went down, we started running a lot of plays for him, and then even more so after Sa went down in the second half.
Kind of a back and forth first half, able to keep that lead around 10 for the most part, but Woodhouse and Carey kept making enough shots to keep them in the game in the early going.
They really did, and we put up 52 points. I think that's right in the first half, and certainly they were able to match it. We lost them a little bit, and there's an uncontested layup that no way that should happen, and that's a tough shot by Carey. One that he made. He's certainly capable of making those shots, but that was good defense. Great penetration by Sheldon. We really want him to do that more, get into the lane and keep his dribble, and then just a good play by Matt as we're going back and forth here in the second half.
Matt with the baseline drive, hit the three as well, 28 points, 10 of 12 shooting, and from an offensive standpoint, he really stepped up with Sa and Arlon on the bench.
Yeah, he really did, and just making plays and playing like a senior should. And they're a tough post-up play. Again, not great defensively. Good play by Sheldon here to build a little bit of a lead, and then they respond right back.
Seen Sheldon shoot the ball well a lot this season. What's the key for him handling the point when Sa's not in there?
Just to be poised, just to make simple plays. The thing that Sa does so well is he just makes the easy play. He doesn't try to make the difficult play, and Strickland certainly has the ability to do that also.
A couple of late layups by Longwood. Matt Kennedy with that jumper to get it down to one. They made some free throws. Got a good look on that last possession for Will, but didn't go.
We did. Brad Dobbles called a really good play, our W play, and Matt did just what he was supposed to do to drag their post player away from Will, and Will had a good look. Shouldn't have been in that situation. Shouldn't have allowed a team to come into our gym and score 88 points. And again, something we got to continue to work on, and maybe take some pride defensively in getting some stops and challenging the ball a little bit more, not letting people get as many easy looks at the rim.
With that loss and the injuries to Sa and Arlon, how did your team handle that after the game and then coming forward the last couple of days?
Well, it's been a tough couple days. Certainly some good news with Sa that we're going to have him back a little bit earlier than we thought. We haven't hit our stride yet. We've been a 500 team in the league, and we haven't quite hit our stride. With that being said, we're a couple buckets away from being 5-1. Tough loss at Asheville at home, where Rousey hit some really difficult shots, and then to play the second half without Sa and Arlon and lose to a Longwood team by a couple points. And we just haven't hit the stride that we're looking forward to hitting at some point in the season. We're certainly very capable, but we have some things that we have to shore up, and it's no secret that our improvement needs to be on the defensive end and making teams take more difficult shots, and then continuing to rebound the ball well.
So 1-1 week for Charleston Southern. Bucks now at 3-3. They go back at it this week, starting Wednesday at Campbell. Then Saturday they welcome Liberty into the Buck Dome. We'll take a look at the Campbell game after this. You're watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet. Welcome back to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet. Kevin ORourke alongside the head coach of the Bucks as CSU gets set to travel to Campbell Wednesday night. Bucks at 3-3, trying to rebound off a loss against Longwood this past Saturday, and you get a Campbell team that's played really well in conference season and prevents some challenges with their new head coach Kevin McGee and Princeton offense being #1 for them.
Yeah, they've been certainly the surprise of the league so far, and much credit to them. Kevin has gone in there and changed their style of play, which is very difficult to do, and in a very short period of time, he has them playing very well, and an impressive coaching job by him for sure. And they're very talented. Rico McCarter and Leak and Andrew Ryan are quality players, really good Big South players, and we know that they're a team that will contend for the regular season championship.
You're seeing some highlights here from Campbell's win over Radford. That win got them to 4-1 in league play. A tough loss for them a little bit lopsided on the road at Gardner-Webb on Saturday. What's the biggest challenge of going up against the team that runs the Princeton offense like they do?
Well, you just have to understand what they're looking for, the tendencies. There's so many different reads and options within the Princeton offense, and just understanding what those tendencies are, and being able to communicate, being able to be alert, and keeping them in front, and not allowing them to get what the Princeton offense gives them, trying to take those things away. And it's a real challenge. And then they play a matchup zone and a 1-3-1 zone, which are very different than what we've seen. And so the preparation has been a challenge this week. That, along with regaining some energy and some enthusiasm and some confidence after a difficult loss to Longwood, it's been a good week for us, and we're looking forward to getting back on the court again.
You mentioned it a little bit, but you've seen your team respond to some adversity this season with some tough losses, now a loss, and the injuries. Obviously, good news about Saab, but have to be interested again to see how your team's going to regroup.
It is, and we're going to be at least one guy down and maybe two on Wednesday, and just to see what we can do, see how we can respond, trial by fire and growth by fire. And it's the great thing about sports. It teaches you life lessons. And then to see how we respond to those life lessons are often of great value as we continue to try to grow men here, grow student athletes, and grow basketball players in our program.
So Charleston Southern takes on Campbell up in Bowie's Creek Wednesday at 7 p.m., then back home Saturday at the Buck Dome. Big game against Liberty. Make sure to come on out. 5:30 p.m. tip. If you're not in the area, that game will be live on ESPN3. For Barclay Radebaugh, my name is Kevin ORourke. Thanks for watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet.